Hello, I think you should talk more about sex education, especially what the consequences are. Refer to before Roe vs. Wade or research about Jane. Wait, that's not what usually happens. Good evening, keyboard cowboys and cowgirls. How are you? I wish I had a shirt made of ice so I can wear it, be cool, and then eat it afterwards. Some people say that if you chew ice, it means you're sexually frustrated. I don't know if this is true. I'm gonna ask Yahoo Answers. Does chewing ice mean you are sexually frustrated? Ain't no ice in my frog this weekend. Ha, wow, that guy must be really frustrated. He ate all of his ice! Oh, right, that question. Talking about sex education, what consequences are there? Kids have lesser chances of catching diseases, getting pregnant, and making poor life choices? I think you're going to need to be a little bit more clear about what you mean by consequences. However, the case you brought up, Roe vs. Wade, is a very interesting Supreme Court case. In 1973, the Supreme Court ruled that states could not prohibit abortion before the age of viability in fetuses. Viability is when a fetus could possibly survive outside of the womb. States are also not allowed to prohibit abortion if having a child would endanger the life of the mother. So I guess I'm going to talk about fetuses today. Don't worry, it's interesting. As a means of proving that fetuses are thinking, conscious beings, many pro-life advocates will reference the essay Life or Death by E.E.G., written by Hannibal Hamlin. The issue with this essay was the fact that it was a personal essay, and also did no original research. In addition to this, the research that it cited was either misinterpreted or plain wrong. Another essay submitted to the New England Journal of Medicine by John R. Goldenring followed about the same suit. An electroencephalography machine records electrical activity made by neurons in the brain. EEG machines get this electrical activity from the scalp and have been used for quite a long time to determine death. In fact, that was the actual point of Hamlin's essay, using EEG machines to determine death, not life. The existence of electrical currents in the brain is very different from brainwave activity. In fact, the brain activity in a fetus for the first 19 weeks is comparable to that of a shrimp. It's pretty much just random nerve impulses going along, no actual sense of consciousness. Brainwave itself is a very vague and not clearly defined term. Enough electrical activity can show that the brain is functioning normally. Apparently, actual brainwave activity occurs most frequently at 20 weeks or so, and then kicks into high gear around 26 or 27 weeks. Coming from a legal standpoint, Roe vs. Wade seems to agree with this when it comes to viability, and it makes sense. According to data collected 2003 through 2005, babies who are born 23 weeks into the gestation period have a 20 to 35% chance of surviving. Those who are born later obviously have a greater chance of surviving. After all, it just makes sense that if right around then is when they start getting brain activity, they will start to survive outside of the fetus. Also keep in mind that being born before 37 weeks of gestation is considered a premature birth. With this information in mind and religious agendas put aside, what pro-lifers are arguing for is the potential for human life, which is something that we can all respect. It then becomes a matter of keeping in mind what that potential is. Whether or not that child and its parents will actually benefit from its being born. After all, there are worse things than death. Sometimes it's being born. Well, that was dramatic. Let's do the news. Obama is learning whose ass to kick in oil mess. I also heard on NPR that he said that heads need to roll and that he gave BP CEO Tony Hayward a presidential pink slip. Speculators say that BP will now try to keep Tony Hayward out of the public spotlight for a while. Quite a feat. Oregon man runs 102 miles barefoot. 1. Holy shit. 2. Terrible article name. I would much rather it be called Quite a Foot, because intentional or not, the misspelling makes me angry. It just makes me think, you misspelled feet. It's a singular thing. He did one thing. It's not plural. Am I the only one who cares about this? Subsea oil plumes found 142 miles from rig. Ha! We told you, BP! Oh god, that's terrible news. And finally, some clever guy did this. That's all for today. This is Way on The Great Adventure.